People always say that in life, if you want to learn something new, you need to make mistakes. Well, if that's true, you are talking to an expert in the study of the Czech language. If you're an adult learner of the Czech language, watch this video and you might just save yourself days, weeks, or even years of time.
The Czech alphabet has 42 letters, 26 same letters as the English language alphabet, plus 16 letters with accents. Now these 16 letters with accents include a totally made up letter that is in the Czech language called H. This is a letter that's just been created by putting two letters together, C and H. I call that cheating, which is ironic because the word cheat in English, its first two letters are C and H. One accent in Czech, the glohy, is added to letters to make them sound longer. So the Czech letter A becomes A. You might also see this symbol, the crochet, the little ring that's usually placed over the U letter in Czech, making it U. So let's practice. H, A, U. If for me, the additions to these letters make the Czech language sound sexy. This other accent, the H-Czech, the little hook, when added to letters in the Czech alphabet, make the language sound distinctly unsexy. Ch, d, n, sh, j. And the undisputed star of the Czech language, Queen Hooker herself, or H-Czech, r, 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 rsh, rsh, rsh. 15 years, still can't do it. Look, all I'm saying is don't make the same mistakes that I made. I was so impatient to learn Czech, but what I wanted to learn was like some cool Czech phrases that I could use in the pub to impress Czech locals with my knowledge of the language. I was like any other grown-up English-speaking learner of Czech for the first time. I didn't want to spend time in class just going over the alphabet. I thought it was a waste of time going over the letters and the sounds of Czech. I just thought that one day the sounds of Czech would wash into my brain like magic. They didn't. I think in the end, I just accepted it. I went back and studied the alphabet again. I wasted about 3 years, I think. When talking about teachers, please spend money. Don't make the same dumb mistake I did. When I got here first, I was quite naive about language learning. I just really assumed that most Czech teachers were of a similar level. Not true at all. So I thought maybe I could save myself a few crowns. Bad idea, very, very, very bad idea. A good language teacher is quite hard to find. Even an above average teacher is hard to find. In the early days when I started learning Czech first, some of the teachers I had were doing this as a part-time job or extra work outside of their real job. One of the first teachers I had lived just outside Prague. I would travel to her flat for the lesson. She wasn't a bad teacher, but she had a huge dog, or the dog was kind of a wolf-dog hybrid, and she insisted that the dog sat beside me during the lesson. I don't know about you, but it's difficult for me to concentrate on my Czech language learning skills when there's a huge wolf dog sitting beside me. Plus, I was also jealous because his or her Czech was far better than mine. The wolf dog episode happened about 12 years ago, but that lesson was fantastic value for money. It was 250 crowns for 60 minutes. These days, 2025, if you find a Czech language teacher for 500 crowns per hour, it's a miracle. You're not gonna. Minimum you're going to pay these days is 600 crowns per hour, probably 650, maybe even 700 for a good teacher. But it's worth it.
The Czech language has grammatical cases. 7 in fact, and how I love each and every one of them. I even wish that the Czech language had more grammatical cases. Why only 7? Why not 8, 9, or even 10? I think we should have an extra grammatical case only for love. Maybe one also for hate. A grammatical Czech case only dedicated to beer. But no. In reality, we only have 7 beautiful Czech grammatical cases to enjoy. The first grammatical case is the nominative case. So if you're in the Czech Republic and you think some Czech person deserves to win a prize, you use the nominative case. You nominate them for that prize, for that award. The second grammatical case is the genitive case, also known as the possessive case. So if you're in the Czech Republic and you need to say something is yours, you'll be expected to use the genitive case. This is the case for you. Number 3 is the dative case. So you can probably guess by the name, the dative case is concerned with dating. So if you come to the Czech Republic and you try to get involved romantically with a Czech person, maybe through a dating app like Tinder or something like that, big bonus points if you communicate in the dative case. The fourth case is the accusative, and this is a tricky one. You got to watch out how you use this because it's used to accuse people of things. It's often used in combination with the dative case if you want to accuse someone of something in the dating world. If, for example, you're a man and a woman has stolen your heart, you might say in Czech, "Ukradla mi srdce." The fifth case is the vocative case. And I know earlier that I said I love with all of my heart each and every grammatical case in Czech. I do think that everybody in the world, Czech people included, could live on quite happily if the vocative case did not exist. Vocative? I'll deal with you later. The fifth case is the locative case, and this is used when you need to locate things. Perhaps something you lost, like earlier. Your heart was stolen and you need to find it again, so you should use the locative case. The final case is the instrumental case, which, as you can probably see by the name, is only used by musicians or when talking about music and instruments. One thing to prepare yourself for when you move to this country is that you're going to be given a new name. I wasn't prepared for this. My official name is Bryan. I've been using Bryan for a long, long time now. I'm quite used to it. Because of the extremely interesting fifth grammatical case in the Czech language, the vocative case, which I mentioned earlier, when you're calling to someone or addressing someone, the name has to change slightly. So when someone wants to get my attention in this country, they don't say, "Hey, Bryan," they say, "Bryany," which I love. Not a huge problem, not a big deal, but with some Czech names it can be tricky. If you have a friend named Pavel and you want to get his attention, you do not shout the name Pavel. He will not answer you. You need to say Pavle. If you have a female friend, Czech friend named Pavla, don't shout Pavla to get her attention. You need to shout Pavlo. If you don't do this correctly, Czech people will completely ignore you no matter how serious the situation is. Pavel! 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 Pavel, I need you. My shoe is on fire. Pavel, please just turn around and look at me. Pavle. What's the problem? Again, that doesn't sound too complicated, and it's not, but it gets a little bit more tricky because in my opinion, the Czech language is a cute language. Czech people like to give cute names to people and things in their use of the diminutive. I include this information here because, combined with Czech grammar changes in the cases, it will seem to a new learner of the Czech language that Czech people have between 2 and 15 first names. On the other hand, Czech surnames are a lot of fun. Since I've been teaching English in this country, I've had a Pan Tiki, Mr. Quiet, he wasn't. Pan Vesely, Mr. Happy, he was. Pan Smutny, Mr. Sad, he was happy. Pan Kruti, Mr. Cruel, that was a difficult lesson. Pan Mali, Mr. Small, he was huge. As of yet, I haven't had a Pansly, Mr. Evil. But if I do, I pray to God the man is a doctor. I know English has a lot of surnames based on professions, but Czech seems to have their surnames based on moods or characteristics. And I've checked, this book series was not invented in the Czech Republic. So say after a while your Czech is getting a little bit better and you live in Prague. There's one very important thing you need to know about the way Prague people speak Czech, especially what they do with words beginning with the letter O. For some reason, maybe it's the sound of their accents, but Prague people like to add a V to words beginning with the letter O. So, for example, this sentence in English, he refused to repair the window. In Czech, normally that would be on odmítl opravit okno. But in Prague speak, it becomes von odmítl opravit okno. And for me, that's absolute madness for the capital city of a country that invented defenestration. But it's not all bad in Prague. If you want to sound a little bit cool and take a little shortcut in Czech, here's a great tip. Here's what the locals in Prague call some famous landmarks in their city. Karlovo na Městí is not known by local Prague people as Karlovo na Městí, it's known as Karlák. Staromestské náměstí is known as Staromak. Náměstí Míru is Mírak. IP Pavlova, the very popular metro station, is known as Ipak or Pavlak. Hlavní Draží, the main train station, is known as Hlavak. And the park in front of Hlavní Draží, it's known as Sherwood. Sherwood, from the legend of Robin Hood, because the park in front of Hlavní Draží in Prague is apparently full of thieves. Okay, so I know that every foreigner doesn't move directly to Prague, so if you move to Brno, there are a few things you need to know about the language down there. If you're traveling around, you don't take a tram. The tram is not a tramvai, it's a šalina. If you want to go for a beer, you don't say demene pivo, you say demene škopek. Škopek translates as a big tub, like a tub for washing clothes or maybe dishes in the old days. It's very big, so I'm kind of worried how much Moravian people actually drink. And if you come to Brno from Prague, you may be called a sizel, which I don't think sounds very nice because it's pretty much too close for me to Heisel. Tato část videa je pouze pro Čechy. Tato zpráva je určena přímo obyvatelům této země. Někdy můžete potkat někoho v hospodě, restauraci nebo na ulici. A tento člověk vydává velmi zvláštní zvuky. Nejdříve si myslíte, že je ten člověk nemocný. Jde o naléhavou situaci, že je třeba zavolat záchranku, protože dotyčný zní jako prasa v zabíjačce. Pak si ale uvědomíte, že je to rodilý mluvčí angličtiny, který se snaží mluvit česky. Vím, že se chcete smát, ale prosím odolejte, protože by to pro tuto osobu mohl být kritický moment v studiu češtiny. Vaše reakce by mohla rozhodnout o tom, zda bude pokračovat v studiu češtiny, nebo spálí všechny své učebnice ještě ten samý večer. Děkuji vám za pozornost. If you found this video useful in some way, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell icon for notifications and check out these other similar videos.